And we are back here on Overgrowth. I will never, for the life of me, understand why people post the URL of a Twitter account as opposed to just typing @ and then the account. But thank you, Trigonal, for endorsing Edgy Dank Esports. There you go, like that, like that. Up here on the top right-hand corner of the map, we have representing Team Blizz Please. It is our Zerg player, Trigonal. And his opponent down in the bottom left-hand corner of the map, representing Team All Inspiration, he is our green Protoss player, Purge. Yay. And going for the gateway up front there on the ramp, a drone scout is already out, and actually knowing that this is potentially a cheesy player, already looked around his natural and third base for anything that may be going on before making his way down into the natural and main of the Protoss player. Going for gas first and then spawning pool is Trigonal. As the drone gets in, takes a look around, and we'll see one gas taken. And we'll decide with that information what to do next. See if we get a insta speed, which I think so based on the timing of the gas. Actually, very good timing. 100 right there as soon as it's done. Good job, Trig. Although then he didn't start it though. I was impressed and then I stopped. The cybernetic score coming down here as a zealot comes out to help clear this drone out of the way. The probe could circle on back to put the Nexus down, and does, as a zealot chases that off. The speed has started now. It's so much later than it could have with this awesome timing. Purge currently kind of cutting probes here. Not sure if that's intentional. Now he does start it back up again, so he is going to continue. Cybernetics core finishes up, and obviously gateway starting. No natural taken yet by Trig, but we'll do that now as Lings start to move across the map. Two of them a little farther ahead. May have seen that probe go out, but I kind of don't think. As two poke in here, we'll go after the pylon, but then instantly just turn around. The zealot will come down to try and chase them away. We'll get one just dead there. The Lings trying to maneuver into a good position. And the zealot also trying to maneuver into a good position. And nope, not quite getting the trap there that they wanted. Pretty good micro overall. And now the zealot will finally fall after damaging a lot of Lings with speed done here. Lings are going to continue to stream in. It is going to be tough at this moment for Purge to defend this base. The mothership core was actually completely skipped here. So while this sort of thing is usually defended with a photon overcharge, it's not going to be in this case. Two Lings actually get inside that, and the sentry is going to fall to one of them. Once that is down, there is very little defense, unfortunately, available for Purge. Trigonal deciding to potentially leave that Nexus on the low ground and just leave as is the custom for Team All In. Here we are on a dead wing, and I did get the positions that I was hoping for. The players are in cross. Up on the top right-hand side of this map, it is from Team Blizz Please, which is really just his North American tag. He is Trigonal, really obviously representing Edgy Dank Esports. And down here on the bottom left-hand corner of the map, we have definitely representing Team All In, All Inspiration. It is Purge. And gonna have a lot more room to work with here. He has put a pylon down on the low ground, so potentially going for the faster expansion on this map. Interesting position on it too. Does obviously block the run by there once your wall is up, but I haven't really seen people use that spot, so kind of cool, and curious how he'll build out from there. A drone is moving down to the natural to take the hatchery first for Trigonal. And we've got a probe making his way, kind of just biding time, doesn't want to reveal in case there was a drone there, and then going to take the Nexus. It's good to do things like that, like if you end up down there early and you don't have enough to start it, kind of, you don't want to tip your hand and then have them know, like, okay, a drone is coming, or a drone is there, and then he can block you and be annoying. So yeah, okay, I like the way that this wall is going to end up, using the Vespian Geyser as part of that. And a gateway as opposed to a forge at that base. Trigonal has gone for the quick third hatchery before pool, trying to be economically sound. Purge just going for the one gas so far. And a spawning pool coming down on Trigonal's side. Knows from the Overlord what the location of his opponent is. However, his opponent hasn't actually sent out a scout at all at this point. So he's not completely aware if it is vertical or cross at this point. But doesn't really need to know that yet. Instead, focusing on the economy, keeping the probes back home and everything mining. Zealot comes out and takes up his rightful position between the pylon and the cybernetics core. Double gas coming down for Trigonal. And the Overlord slowly creeping his way across the middle of the map. Going to try and get a fairly good Overlord spread around this base. And probably get in position to see when, say, the third or fourth was taken. We'll bring this one in closer to look at the wall as a stalker moves out and past. Just kind of droning and probing up so far are both players. No real tech choice has been taken by Purge yet. Instead, adding on gateways going up to 6 so far. Will there be a 7th or 8th? There's a 7th. Will this be an 8 gate or 7 gate? Looks like he is sticking with the 7 gate. Has a stalker out on the map, but not a probe out on the map. And the probe just leaving the base now. It will get spotted by 2 lings, although they do not turn to attack it, nor do they have speed yet. A stalker kind of just bravely wandering across into the base of Trigonal. Wants to get some idea of what is there. It's kind of like he scouted out a safe path, as the probe has followed the same sort of trajectory across the map. The 7 gates are about to all finish up and turn into the warp gates, as this pylon is also about to complete. It is a little bit far away, but not too bad at all. And definitely a safer one, as you may try and go for closer here with the probe as well. And we get a warp in of Pure Zealot. The Stalker, of course, provoking out what units were actually there for Trigonal, and then knowing to make a bunch of Zealots as the course of action. Trigonal starting up some roaches behind this, but oh, Trigonal just made 6 Overlords right before this attack came. Bet he's wishing that he had those larvae back. The Zealots here doing a pretty good job against the Lings, although the Queens behind those were able to clear a couple out. The third base is going to die, but this is given enough time that these spine crawlers are going to get up here. And with a good number of stalkers behind as well, this could be a pretty strong force or a pretty snowbally force, depending on how things work out. Coming in here, the Roach is not fully ready yet. One of the spines going down almost immediately here. The second one going down. We've got Zealots right on the Queens. Roaches are being brought down. The Stalkers picked up a lot of the drones, trying to reinforce with Roaches, but this force does look a little bit overwhelming at this point. A lot of the times, not all of it actually attacking our Protoss player, and looks like this is completely broken through. Trigonal did not detect this attack and calls GG. Back here on our third map of this series. We are on Inferno Pools. Down here on the bottom left-hand side of the map, we have our purple Zerg player. He is from Blizz Please, but really edgy dank esports. It is Trigonal. And over on the right-hand side of the map, we have representing Team All Inspiration. He is our glorious Protoss player, the green Purge. Going for the pylon at the top of the ramp this time. This obviously is a harder one to do a quicker expansion on, just because the ramp is not only wider, but it's way far out from your nexus, so you can't really use that to leverage against it, and your photon overcharge isn't as helpful a tool in that case. So going for the gateway up top. Drone is out scouting for Trigonal, and he is going for extractor first and a pool, so we could see a bunch of quicklings out again, although that could end up being fairly easy to hold given what Purge has opened with, if he's just able to hang on to the ramp, which may not be that difficult. You can still end up containing the Protoss player even if they do hold the ramp, but yeah, you have to do something to get damage done if this does not actually work. Cybernetic score coming down at that ramp as well. No Zealot started yet, but he's still got a fair bit of time, as the pool is just about to finish in a little bit. 100 gas already been taken and pulled off by Trigonal. And once again, not starting speed right away. But hey, whatever. Why start it on time, really? I guess he wants to put the hatchery down before he gets it. Although he waited until he had 400. Anyway. And now he canceled it. I don't know what's happening. What are you doing, Trig? Why is speed not started? What are you doing? All right, I've decided that Trigonal just like disconnected or something, because this makes no sense. So 6 lings have come across to the third base of Purge, but of course nothing there. The Nexus is coming down at the natural. Speed has now been started. The hatchery at the natural now going back down. And yeah, I've got to think that any timing that he had in mind is kind of broken at this point. Lings are going after the Nexus. It will probably force a cancel on this, as these units won't really be able to come down and defend it all. But there is definitely a delay in when speed could have been up and where it is now. Cancellation on that. Could go after the pylon or attempt to poke up into the main base. 2 more gateways coming down, and the second sentry is out. Speed not yet done, and the natural for Trig not yet done either. Will be able to just kind of contain for the time being with these lings, provided he doesn't... Oh, okay. Actually just gets in. That's kind of crazy. They will still die, though. Could have been bad, but yeah, they do just die, as there are enough units to take out 4 or 5 lings. And has to back out. That's a bit of a shame on his part. It looked like an opportunity, but that actually potentially cost him the ability to to contain the Protoss. He can move down now, unless Trig wants to commit more units to that attack. The Protoss has a lot of banked minerals at the moment, which can now start to be spent. Zealot charge is being made, along with more zealots, obviously. And will he come down? Yeah, I think this is going to come put the natural back. 700 minerals, wants to get some of that out. And going for the pylon up front again. Lings will make their way back in, but find a lot of zealots and a lot of sentries there. Or just 2 sentries, but enough, certainly, to repel that. And wonder if he's at all suspicious about 7 zealots, or 6 zealots, I guess, being out on the map at this point with no stalker at all. Roaches appear to be the choice for Trigonal. However, I don't believe he's actually made any yet. Could move into that. We've got 30 drones to 24 probes at the moment. But that will shoot up once the Nexus is finished. The charge almost done, only about 20 seconds away here. A 4th and 5th gateway coming down up front. And there could be a good opportunity for just a zealot sentry attack here. If there's just too few units, then that can definitely overrun his opponent. However, I'm not sure that there's going to be an attack, as a Forge is coming down as well. The second base is now starting to get things out as part of its economy. And Trigonal going up to lair on his side. No third base from him yet in this game. And a robo facility down for Purge as well. And chronoing out that +1. So definitely digging in, and doesn't look like there's going to be an attack on either side in the very near future. Hallucinated Phoenix coming across to see what is going on. We'll see the timing of the lair and know what potential tech Trigonal could have. He does have, basically. Trigonal is, however, missing some Evo chambers. There they go, as soon as I said it, but then he canceled them. Now he puts it back. And he is getting the 3rd there at the center position above his main. And going for the Hydra Den as well. Given the army that Purge currently has, Roach Hydra would be dominating against this. However, Purge does have the robo facility behind this. The Immortals will definitely really help out, particularly with the Sentry support. And, oh, he's going for Templar Archives as opposed to going into the Colossus there, which is quite interesting. Could be looking to do Zealot Archon, maybe getting Storm, but I'm not sure. That's not very common, but could be quite interesting. Double upgrades coming for Trigonal, armor plus the ranged attack. So the Hydra Den is done. Our Protoss player looking to move out here, actually leaving a Immortal back home, but he gets +1 and comes onto the creep as soon as +1 is done. Spine Crawler has rooted itself on the bottom of the ramp. There's not that many units out yet for our Zerg player. He's going to try and stall out a little bit here as Roaches come down and get into position with those Queens. Recall back by Purge. He's not going to take that fight. The army there he may have beaten, but there is probably no way that he's going to take reinforcements from 3 bases. He didn't actually have a proxy pylon or anything up there, so a good call by him to back out of that position and wait for a little later on in the game. There is a changeling in Purge's main base, getting some idea of what's going on. We've got a second robotics facility and Colossus Den coming out now. And Archon has been brought in, and yeah, Purge just kind of very heavily investing in a lot of gas-heavy stuff. But given that the composition of his main army has been zealots, that could work out, as he may not need that much gas to maintain the gateway units if he's going for that approach. An infestation pit coming down for Trigonal. I usually say I hope it's not swarm hosts, but given the new weird swarm hosts, I'm fine with that if he wants to play with them. But I doubt it will be. Ling's coming in, checking that third base position again, seeing that there is none. Purge actually has gone for the +1 armor as opposed to the +2 attack. There, despite having the Twilight Council. And more gateways coming down there. He's double pumping out Colossus at this point. And Colossus obviously quite good against the Hydras. And overall, the army of Trigonal, he's just not really keeping up with it. He's hit 66 drones, so he could very strongly go into army production at this point and have a pretty strong economy. He's got 2,200 minerals and 400 gas, so a lot could definitely be built, and 4 roaches and 6 hydras are coming out now, as well as the 2-2 upgrades. But yeah, he definitely needs to get his army actually up and running and get some sort of counter for the Colossus, which there will soon be 4 of. And yeah, 4 is a lot when there's this many force fields, when there's this many zealots. It's going to be hard to get in and do anything about this. I think the Archon is trapped. These Lings hope against hope and get into the mineral line there, kill 1 probe. And they're just going to kind of be obnoxious, but they must have seen all the Colossus that do exist. The Archon, yeah, literally cannot get out of that 1 slot hole. Every Protoss does that at some point in their career. He could Warp Prism it out. But we'll use the Warp Prism for reinforcements. Trigonal trying to get his army into a good spot, a good place. 10 more roaches coming. He's about 40 seconds away from the 2-2 on his army. But this could be a very tough engage. There's a lot of energy on these sentries. The Zealots will kind of charge in here. A few of them going down in the initial blast. Nice little flank there by Trigonal, drawing the fire over to the side. Gets 1 Colossus. This part of the army will definitely go down, but the roaches have broken through the front. A lot of force fields being used to hold things off, attempting to warp in directly in his face, and the army is going to back off a little from this position, both kind of retreating back. Trigonal trying to reestablish a bit of a concave there. Will get one of the other Colossus, only 1 left at this point, but good force fields again, keeping basically everything completely away. Tries to target down the last Colossus. It runs directly into Lings, and overwhelming this army here is Trigonal as the warp-in tries to come. Colossus coming in from the back, chasing off these Hydras as the roaches clean up the remaining zealots, and this Colossus is going to have to run home. It's hard to move from this on a 2-base economy for the Protoss player. Trigonal may not be able to really push in right now, and I kind of don't think he should push the issue too much. However, could try and do some damage up front and see what resistance he faces. We'll try and target fire that down. That forge probably could have volleyed that 1 more time, but risks getting completely force fielded in. And wanted to check the 3rd base, which is still not there. Viper is on the way. Muscular augments and a glial reconstitution coming for the roaches and hydras, which will definitely help out in their quest for awesomeness. The Vipers will certainly be key here, though. The Protoss player about to mine out his main base, the Zerg about to mine out his main base as well, but in the Zerg's case, he has 4. So there's a lot more to fall back on here. Catching the army completely off creep and catching it moving very slowly as a big section of that gets picked off here. Trigonal does have to back up, and while he obviously wanted to contain him on 2 base if he could, it's yeah, you don't want to be that far off when you don't have the speed and stuff yet. Vipers now trying to get their energy up off the friendly buildings. And there's just 4 Colossus is a lot. Like, even if you do pull them in, it is just a pretty strong number. 26 Lings coming out to join this force as well. They're not great against either the Colossus or the Zealots, but they can definitely add some padding. 7 Hydras will also make their way out as a huge drone transfer going on. Pulling the forces up. Amazing force fields yet again. Catches Trigonal not even attack moving. The Vipers pulling Colossus into their deaths. All 4 instantly going down. And overrun there. Trigonal does take game number 3 with the Viper balls.